Super Smash Bros. Most people know Super Smash Bros. As the Nintendo crossover fighting series, featuring everyone's favorite Nintendo mascots duking it out on the battlefield, including the likes of Super Mario, The Legend of Zelda, Pokémon, Donkey Kong, and even some special cases, like Sonic the Hedgehog. But Smash wasn't just about its all-star cast. Even before the game's implementation of Nintendo characters, Super Smash Bros. Sought out to completely shake up the world of traditional fighting games. The developers sat down, took an entire genre, and thought outside the box, and asked themselves, how can we make Super Smash Bros. Different? And it all starts with the objective. Historically, the majority of fighting games fall under the same category and mindset. Typically, you have two characters placed into a box-shaped arena, locked into looking at each other, trying to whittle each other's health bar down to zero through the use of spacing, offensive combos, and pokes. That is your objective. In contrast, Super Smash Bros. Is a fighting game that thinks outside the box, quite literally. In Smash Bros., the objective is changed, and you now must try to knock your opponent off the stage. This change makes Smash Bros. Play out more as a King of the Hill type game, as opposed to the standard cage match mentality. By changing the objective, Super Smash Bros. Created an entirely new type of fighting game experience, with a new metagame centered around knocking back opponents that still manages to retain and build off of standard fighting game mechanics. The first change, the percentage system. Because the objective is to force your opponent off stage, a combat system was made designed around knockback mechanics. Super Smash Bros. Forgoes the standard health bar mechanic completely, and instead displays damage given to a player with a damage percentage counter. You still have your standard and special attacks, tilts, and grab moves, but they all function a little differently from other fighting games. The more damage your opponent receives, the greater knockback they will receive, and the easier it becomes to knock them off stage. The system can be described as a dynamic combat system. Because damage percent is always changing, this means different combos and offensive options change and function differently as a match is carried out. For example, a character like Melee Marth may be able to effectively juggle and combo Fox at lower percentages, but the same options will not work once Fox has already received significant damage, meaning if he hasn't already converted into a KO, Marth will have to use different options to get the kill. The dynamic combo system also builds in other elements, including the different character moves, unique hitboxes, stale hits, and that's when a repetitive move becomes weaker in succession, and the very noteworthy fact that each character in Smash has their own individual weight value and fall speed that dictates how they are able to combo and be comboed by different characters at different percentages. Another mechanic, known as DI or Directional Influence, also allows players to influence their character's trajectory when hit. Not only does this give an unprecedented amount of control to the player, but it works hand in hand with the dynamic percentage system, as the amount you can DI depends on how far and how fast your character is launched over a period of time. With the knockback-based combat system in place, the rest of the game's stages and characters were built to take advantage and give variety to these mechanics. Stages in Smash were designed with four main differences from the standard box-like stages of other fighting games. Stages were designed to be much larger than the characters. They were designed to have ledges that opponents could fall from. They were designed with a variety of blast zones, which are areas to the side and above in which an opponent becomes knocked out. And they were designed with a variety of different platforms that characters could move on. Each of these different stage elements further build into Smash's gameplay mechanics and distance it from other fighting games. The size and shape of the stages have a significant impact on how players can offensively move around. Smash is a game where you aren't locked into looking at your opponent, and you are given free movement utility of your character. And when you work that together in conjunction with the characters and stages, the gameplay evolves into something not really seen in other fighting games. Among the Smash series, you see techniques such as dash dancing, foxtrotting, rolling, shield dropping through platforms, and players trying to read and predict and react to these movement positions, all made possible due to the stage layouts. For example, as a stage changes in shape and size, different combo and offensive options become available to different characters. Maybe it's a Fox using platforms to chase an opponent upwards, or a Falco wall jumping off of a stage to spike an opponent. The the fact that there is a ledge to each stage makes a monumental difference in the way the game is played. It's important to realize that Smash is a game where you are knocking your opponent off stage in any direction to take away an opponent's life. This means you don't always have to build up damage and KO someone off of the ceiling, because it's possible to KO an opponent off the ledge of the stage at even low percentages through creative combat and strategy. When an opponent is knocked off stage, they will attempt to return back through the use of multiple jumps and sometimes even other attacks. The aggressor can then try to intercept their opponent's recovery and deny them from getting back to the stage, oftentimes by the use of aerial attacks off stage while free falling. Unlike other fighting games where a health bar will always require the same amount of damage to deplete, Smash Bros. Can see stocks end early or at any given percentage or time due to the way the game greatly rewards creative play and calculated risks. When you take everything into consideration, all the different elements in place in a standard Smash Bros. Match, it is without a doubt a very different and unique kind of fighting game. Whether it's Melee, Brawl, 64, or Smash 4, Super Smash Bros. Offers new game mechanics and ways to play that are unique to itself as a series. They took the traditional fighting game formula and looked at it from a different perspective with confidence to create something new. And that is what makes Super Smash Bros. So different. There is an incredible amount of variety and possibility that isn't even really seen in other fighting games. Pro players took advantage of this fact and created a whole system of picking and counter-picking stages for competitive play. It's also worth noting that due to the larger stages and camera range, Smash Bros. Cements itself as one of the most competitive fighting game series for teams and doubles matches as well. And when you consider all the vast possibilities already offered in singles play, it's not hard to understand why Smash teams add an entirely new dynamic to an already unique game. Hope you enjoyed our brief look at why Super Smash Bros. Is different. There's still a lot left to cover, so make sure to subscribe to Super Smash Academy. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for quick tips and fighting trivia. And if you're looking to understand some of the basic techniques in the franchise, check out Part 1 and Part 2 of our Smash 4 Basic Series. I also want to take the time to thank the Smash Boards for bringing the Smash community together and for ever being the hub that allowed us to learn and talk about the series we all care and love. Also, I want to thank Jolly, someone who has been a part of this community since the very beginning, who took the time to write this script for this video, so make sure to definitely go show him some love over on his channel.